In this video, we will cover a deep plot, or conspiracy that goes beyond just one movie. What you're about to hear is a conspiracy that many have overlooked. The idea is that the entire clone army was a Trojan horse designed by Palpatine, not just to kill the Jedi, but to run a massive, long-term Sith bioengineering experiment. Kamino wasn't just erased from the Jedi archives. That wasn't a fluke or some rogue Jedi hacking the system. It was part of a larger operation, one buried so deep, not even Palpatine wanted it traced. Ask yourself this: why create a perfect clone army, and then immediately destroy its creators? Because Kaminoans weren't just cloners, they were witnesses. According to recovered Senate intelligence memos, the Kaminoans had contingency protocols that involved independent tracking of Order 66 effectiveness. They had backup memories of every clone, detailed personality drift logs, and test results showing irregularities, especially among early generation ARC troopers. They knew something was off. They were preparing to leak it, and they got wiped out for it. While everyone knows about Order 66, most people don't know about Order 151. It was issued in parallel with Order 66, but to Republic intelligence, not the clone army. It was a shadow order, codified under a now-destroyed protocol called Switchpoint. The goal? Terminate all key Kaminoan scientific personnel, not just in Tipica City, across their whole diaspora. This included subcontracted engineers working on Geonosis, Ariadu, and Coruscant's Black Site labs. The plan was to wipe out anyone who had access to the deeper truth, that the clone army wasn't just bred for obedience. It was bred for something else entirely, hidden within Phase 1 troopers. DNA coding was a non-Kaminoan sequence labeled Sequence for 3AK7. Cloners who stumbled on it assumed it was a stabilization segment, but recent forensic genetic mapping shows this code matches recovered Sith biomatter from Exegol. That's right, the clones were partially hybridized with Sith origin DNA. It was subtle, nothing overt, no force sensitivity, but enough to create specific neural triggers linked to aggression, obedience, and anti-Jedi psychological conditioning. Palpatine wasn't just building soldiers, he was embedding Sith-aligned thinking into an entire generation. That's why the clones turned so easily. They weren't following orders. They were primed to see the Jedi as enemies. It was a mental virus. Late-stage clone batches post-Phase 2, just before the conscription transition, had even more complex implants. Some had traced nanotech, far beyond Kaminoan capacity. That tech, same energy signature as the droid control frequencies used on Mustafar during Vader's initial purge campaigns, which means the clones were remote accessible, not by battle droids, not by separatists, by Palpatine himself. This gave him live override access to suppress memory, shift loyalty, or trigger lethal fail-safes at scale. How do we know this? Because two recovered ARC troopers, codename Krell Echo and Tusk, experienced massive seizures after attempting to describe pre-Order 66 deployments under Jedi General Typler. Their vitals showed off the charts. Cerebral frequency disruptions, consistent with external interference. They weren't traumatized. They were being wiped in real time. Years after the Clone Wars ended, several Kaminoan cloning vaults remained locked, even to the Empire. The Empire didn't destroy them. They couldn't. Access was biometric and encoded with Prime Minister Lama Su's genetic markers that were lost when he was executed during the early purge. Rumors say Palpatine tasked an inquisitor named Shin Taller to recover this vault from Kamino's flooded ruins. What was inside? Prototype clone variants that were force-sensitive, brain-mapped Jedi cognitive patterns extracted through Sith alchemy, records of crossbreeds between human DNA and Yoda species. The Emperor wanted more than control. He wanted reproducible force potential, engineered, stored, and loyal only to him. This project laid the groundwork for Snoke. Why did the clones get phased out so fast? Because Palpatine never intended them to survive. When Kamino was bombarded by Imperial ships, it wasn't punishment. It was a containment measure. According to declassified comms logs, a command titled Final Failsafe Protocol 43 read, was triggered by a subroutine in the cloning vats. Every remaining growth chamber across Kamino activated a chain reaction, effectively liquefying half-developed clones and corrupting all backup genetic data. The entire clone lineage was flash erased from the galactic record, except for the ones who escaped. ARC defectors, rogue medics, a few Phase 2 loyalists who saw the truth. They've gone underground, and they've been broadcasting. One such transmission ended with, "We are not who we were made to be." We are the sons of silence, the brothers of betrayal. The galaxy does not remember us, but we remember everything. Moff Gideon wanted Grogu for his blood, but the experiments weren't new. They were restarts. Everything happening post-Empire, the Exegol resurrection projects, the Death Star debris recovery, the dark cloning labs, it all starts with Kamino. Palpatine didn't just build an army, he tested galactic-scale obedience. Then he erased the factory. And now, the tech is back. The Sith legacy is mutating again, this time with no oversight, no Jedi, and no archive left to warn the next generation. You think the Clone Wars were about trade routes and separatism? They were about control, biological, psychological, and historical. The Jedi fell because their enemies didn't just destroy them. They rewrote the soldiers who trusted them.